I'm going to say to you is that you're really honest, because what can happen is that people can recognize what we're good at. Okay. People can recognize our potential, and people are full of great ideas. People are always suggesting things to us, especially if they do recognize that potential, that talent. So it's wonderful that people do recognize that within you. And that's something to embrace and accept. But the reason it's coming across as a bit of pressure, because I feel almost like when somebody says, "Oh, you're so knowledgeable, just do it. Let me bring clients to you." There is that sense of, okay, I should be doing something. I should be, almost like following their ideas. And that's kind of how it starts. And what I'm going to get you to reframe the word block with the word gap. To me, you don't have a block, you have a gap. And you're absolutely 100% right. You've got the gap between knowledge and service. And the gap is application, which is what you're saying. I've got all this certification. I've got all this knowledge that I have studiously and dedicated and committed myself into learning because I want to make sure I do the best that I can. I'm a reliable person. I get that all from you. It's like it's really important that you don't come across as somebody, "Oh yeah, I've done a weekend course and that's it, off I go." You're like, I want to make sure that I'm credible. I want to make sure that when I say I'm going to do something, I've literally completed my course. I've ticked every box. So I get that about you. So you're right when you say you haven't had any case studies. And I mean, that's application. And you're really honest. You're saying, I could, there's nothing stopping you from jumping over the gap, right? And it doesn't make it right or wrong. Look at your own personality, look at your own character, and look at what's important to you. So it sounds like it's important for you to say to people, "I'm certified, I'm knowledgeable, and I also have a portfolio." So option one is you go down the path of saying, for the next 3 months or however you want to do it, you set yourself a timeline. I always think a timeline is important. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to publicly announce that I'm looking to build my portfolio. And I like that word in a way, a bit better than case studies. Portfolio really respects that you already know what you're doing. You have many, many choices, and they can be steps. They can be stepping stones. If you are going to be wanting case studies, please let me tell you, number one, you have to get clear what type of person, not so much the animal, really, to be frank, what type of person do you want to work with? How do you feel about going down the process of getting clear who you want to work with? What kind of issues are you interested in? What type of feedback are you after? Right? Because the person is going to give you feedback. So you want a person that is going to be open. Or what character do you want them to have that you would enjoy working with? So what you want is clarity on your strengths instead of looking at these people and then going, "I can't do it that way." And they're amazing. Okay. Yeah, we can enjoy that element of it, but look at yourself. You have to take a smart risk. You have to take a calculated risk. When you talk about soul satisfaction, just because you're led leads you to knowing that animal communication means something amazing to you, or interspecies communication, actually, you're talking about, because you're talking about plants and nature, etc. Your thing is this gap where you have to experience risks. So your gap is application, is strategy. There are so many ways that you can venture into unfamiliar territory without freaking everything about your life out. But when you don't recognize the strategy, then you either think I've got a leap, which is really going to freak you out. And there are times when you think, I'm just going to do it. I've had enough. This is soul destroying. You know, if you had a bad day or things don't, you know, like your soul goes like, you can't keep doing this to me. So you think I'm going to leap. But then, of course, the thought of leaping, suddenly your unconscious go, yeah, but you know, you got to pay the bills. You got to eat. You don't move because you haven't created a strategy for the gap. So I would recommend a strategy for the gap, and it almost doesn't even matter where the strategy is going to take you, as long as the question you ask yourself is what I'm about to do, is it going to take me a step closer? That's all it is. Everything you've got to make a decision about. Does it take me a step closer to soul satisfaction? I don't know what it looks like, because you're not going to know. You're going to feel it, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to feel it each time. It's not like you get there and then you feel the soul satisfaction all in one go and that's it. Yeah, probably. Your soul satisfaction is every step you take is this a step closer. And there will be times when it goes, no, this doesn't feel good. Then you bring in another strategy. And then it goes, does this take me a step closer to soul satisfaction? So, and each step will require you to come out a little bit out of your familiar zone. But it's not going to completely shock your system. But what's important is that you get clear about, so instead of thinking, I don't know what I want to do, because you're not going to know what you want to do, but you will know who you want to be. Okay, so I would say your next step is to identify who you want to be, but I want you to be so specific. Like, it's not enough to go, I want somebody who's going to be happy in my life. Like, what does happy look like, feel like? If you were to wake up, what's 24/7 when she experiences a happy life? Yeah, if I was to follow you around for 24 hours with a camera and I filmed you and I can get inside your head so I know what your thoughts are. I can look at what you eat, where you go, how you get out of bed, you know, what kind of friends you hang out with. You want it so detailed because that's part of the manifestation. Because if you can't identify specifically what happiness means for you, then it's very hard for the universe to deliver.